So just reading a breakdown by James Dunlap, who took his own personal time to break down the Mueller indictment and really get in simple detail if you want to review that. And thanks, Lori, for sharing it. But here's the thing, like, I scanned it. I'm not going to get into the details on it, and this is why. For me, it's really just another example of breakdown. We've got a much more systemic breakdown going on. This is just indicative of what's happening in a lot of different ways. It's nauseating. An election was completely affected by an outside power, but that's not the biggest issue in my view. The biggest issue is we actually have executive, legislative, NGOs, like the systems that we've set up to take care of us have been favoring profits and revenue and financial indicators ahead of human indicators for a long time. And the biggest issue is, and I ranted and raved about this for the better part of a decade, and is the breakdown of our environmental systems, right? I mean, that's the big one, but I think that's far enough away that people won't pay attention to that. So what am I hoping people will pay attention to? For me, it's coming down to healthcare, because I think when it comes down to human beings and their personal well-being, that gets very real. I know that the people that are dealing with autoimmune disease and chronic illness are the most probably frustrated and receptive to the message, but ultimately we need to be able to wake people up to, if they don't want to be those people, then we've all got to start paying attention to the fact that the medical systems that we've set up, and again, it's all part of the same indicator: the elections, the state of the environment, the state of the healthcare system. They've all been essentially, run by interests, financial interests ahead of human interests. That's just what's happened over the last decades. So, what can you do about it? Well, ultimately, thankfully, in the United States, we still have laws that allow for ways of doing things differently. We don't have a completely draconian world. And so, my ultimate question to people very quickly is going to be, hey, I'm building something new that's going to help people to be healthier longer, because it's going to allow preventative care through means other than allopathic medicine. That can mean Chinese medicine, or naturopathy, or homeopathy, or energy healing. And you might shake your head and go, oh, some of that's BS. Well, you know what? For some people it works. And it ultimately works because human beings ultimately, aside from when they get smashed by a truck or something akin to that, they heal themselves to a large degree. And there are things that help. And sometimes allopathic medicine helps. Frankly, a lot of times pharmacology doesn't. And many of the clinical trials, if you dig into the detail of those, indicate that there isn't much better than placebo effect for a lot of the treatments that are standard and acceptable practice in the current medical system. Why? Because the people that make money from those have made it acceptable, and it's close enough to being not destructive in enough cases that it kind of almost worked for a long time. And frankly, it's not anymore. So, I'm building a different option. There are people that have been working under laws like Taft-Hartley, which allow, which were initially there to allow unions to build their own health plans. So we're working under a similar set of laws to say, listen, and companies have been, thousands and thousands of companies are doing this. So what we're doing is saying, hey, we want to form our own health plan. And this health plan is going to allow us to do preventative care in our ways. First, it's going to be very personalized, and then as we collect more data, we're going to be able to guide people on what makes more and more sense. But ultimately, this is about free choice and about allowing human beings to have support in guiding their care, preventative. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, our system doesn't reflect that at all. So ultimately, what I'm looking to do is get people to weigh in. Do you have any interest in this or not? Like, are we get, would if you were able to get support for alternative preventative care, would that be interesting for you? Would that be something that would have you excited? And if you also had good coverage on the side of, with regard to catastrophic care, accident care, the other stuff that people think about insurance for, and if we blend all those together and we do it well, you actually have a very, very compelling product. And so if I want to get people deep line level detail, because I have that for the current design of the plan, and really just want to get people to say, hey, interested, not interested. I dig that, I wouldn't dig it. Because as I see it, this is the turning point. This is the turning point issue. It's personal, it's very real, and it's becoming very clear that the system that we have right now is just not functional for keeping people healthy. It's functional for addressing, some major things that can happen to people, particularly around, acute situations. But that's not the majority of what most of us need to deal with. Most of us just want to stay healthier longer. That's what healthcare should be about. Do you agree? Would you be willing to take a look at something like this for yourself, for your family? Do you know somebody that would be interested in this? Please share this with them. That's the bottom line question right now. Thank you. Thanks for listening. I appreciate that.